Hello Griffin Scopers, welcome back into the little cozy magical sound booth. We are going to do a soul reading today and unlock the destiny, the path of a very iconic figure, Barack Obama. But before I get into it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps keep the content coming to you. If anyone would like a private read with me, then please do get in touch. My email address is in the description box. So let's get started and have a look and see what Obama's cards are. Right, so we are going to be starting here with the Strength card as his character card, one of. And as you can see, we've got an image of a crow here that's balancing on a lion's nose. And it's a risky position for this crow to actually be in, balancing on the lion's nose. And yet it is perfectly encapsulating, I feel, Obama's ability for courageous leadership. The lion's calm acceptance of the crow's presence shows a relationship that's built on trust here, and that dynamic of true power that's built on a cooperation that's not fearful. So like the crow, Obama navigates the fierce lion's energy of politics, aggression, emotional volatility, and the kind of energy that fuels conflict, power plays, media storms, and public pressure. So like the crow, Obama doesn't try to kind of outroar the lion here. It's instead surviving by using a much higher kind of intelligence, emotional discipline. So crows are watchers. They wait, they listen, and they learn before they act. And Obama is known for being measured, thoughtful, and often reserved in his judgment. So he takes the crow's path, much as crows, in so much as, you know, they can survive in all sorts of situations. They're amazing. So, you know, whether it's grotty cities filled with dirt and grime, you know, or whether it's the countryside, wild forests, in storms, whatever it is, they will adapt to the shifting terrain. So Obama's calm during major crises, whether that's kind of economic collapse or racial unrest, reflects the crow's agility. And note how that crow is just gazing right there into the lemniscape, the symbol of limitless possibilities, infinity symbol. So this is a symbol of contemplation, focused on higher ideas, not brute power, but a vision that's aligned with a kind of timelessness. He's looking into that symbol, you know, forever. And there's reflection going on here, not reaction to the political noise. And note how that lion's mane as well is just threaded with all those beautiful roses there. And that symbolizes the softening of raw power, strength expressed through compassion, and how gracefully he leads. So his life actually relates to all the eights, because 8 is the number that governs the Strength card, and the eights represent power, movement, mastery, and evolution. So in the 8 of Swords then, we see Obama's early life. He's spoken out many times about the mental isolation, the internal doubt, and finding his ability to see beyond the illusion of limitation, yeah? And breaking free from traditional narratives of what a black man or outsider could actually achieve in America. So in the Eight of Wands, this is symbolic of his 2008 presidential election campaign, and it captures his energy, his momentum, the clarity of vision that was needed. You know, he's on course here and he's going to hit the bullseye. So once he gained traction, everything moved very fast in his life with a laser focus and speed. In the Eight of Pentacles, this would relate to Obama's connection, or it shows, should I say, his discipline, his disciplined nature, the hours spent writing refined speeches, studying law, and perfecting his policies. So even as a president, he remained a student of history and strategy, and this card connects with his deep respect for education. Now, the Eight of Cups, Obama is the crow here, and it's a soul turning away from the glittering cups of power, recognition and control, and the emotional kind of pull and wanting to probably stay in power. That would have been very strong with those emotional cups there. But however, you know, his post-presidency path shows that true leadership is also about knowing when to hand over the reins and having the courage as well to come away. So he now focuses on inspiring the next generation. That's his new path. And all the eights are they kind of form a symbolic circle, if you will, around his journey from the mental and emotional trials of youth, Eight of Swords, through the disciplined growth and study of hard work of the Eight of Pentacles, and also into swift action and visionary momentum of the Eight of Wands. And in the Cups, of course, walking away from the presidency to follow another calling beyond the full spotlight. So all the eights represent key life stages for him in his soul's evolution as a leader. The Strength card shows his calm, controlled composure. It's a composed power with this one. So in the Star card then, here we see the crow under the star. And the crow isn't in full flight here, but in stillness and aligned with that North Star. His vision, well, that is his vision, the North Star, that's his guide. And the crow's body language is open, its wings are outspread, exposing the heart area, and it's kind of like a power posture in some way, but it's a power posture of cosmic alignment to that North Star where he's going. So the Star card isn't soft because you only get this card after the Tower has absolutely wrecked everything in the Fool's Journey, this is. So Obama didn't rise during peace, rainbows and unicorns. You know, he showed up while the world was imploding. There was economic collapse, wars going on, and cultural fragmentation, and he was carrying the light of hope, the light of that North Star on his wings. and it was strategic as well. So, you know, he didn't fix it all. He knew he couldn't, but he did become a symbol of that North Star, of what was still possible, offering hope. The crow in the star card isn't your average dove, is it? It's clever, the crow, the watcher between worlds. It doesn't shout, it signals by speaking in patterns, presence and pause. He's the master, in fact, of the pause. That makes that makes the crowd kind of lean into what he's conveying. He was never about dominance, but about being that guiding energy. So his soul birth cards then are the Justice and the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is, as we know, the keeper of secrets, and he knows way more than he lets on. It's a kind of a gift, that restraint that he has as well, I think, with those pauses, that strategic silence. But the High Priestess isn't an easy card, you know, just because you know, those silences are there. This card is one that can come with brutal lessons, because don't forget, it's the hero's journey. You know, you have to be able to hold both sides of the light and the dark, and to trust as well the unseen. So Obama had to make decisions within his presidency with incomplete data and knowledge, under enormous pressure. So the High Priestess energy kind of forces you to move in faith. It forces you to move and use your intuition in times where you haven't got, you know, the full knowledge of everything. And maybe he was criticised as well for being too detached or too calm at times. But the High Priestess knows when to speak and when to stay silent. And that's his power. So we see a veil as well in this card. And Obama's healthcare was like pulling down that veil. For years, access to healthcare in America was something guarded, available mainly to the privileged, you know, hidden behind red tape and cost, money, this kind of thing. So Obama employing the High Priestess energy helped reveal what had been kept away from many, you know, the right to care, healing and survival. Very important. You know, us Brits can only imagine what that's like. I mean, we've got our National Health Service that we've always had, although we do, if we want to skip the waiting lists, obviously. Some people are able to pay for private healthcare, but nevertheless, we see pomegranates here as well. And healthcare was almost like, I feel, the sacred fruit. Always there, but finally offered to the people. And his soul path reflects the High Priestess by learning to hold space between the opposites, between the opposing forces, learning when to speak and when to wait, and guiding others towards truth, but without force, without forcing it. So Obama kind of embodies Justice card here, as a soul card. So for instance, before he actually went into politics, he was a constitutional law professor, and justice isn't just an idea to him, it's a whole system. So he deeply studied and taught and trying to reshape justice from within politics. So he or his presidency was kind of marked by him trying to rebalance what he saw as being unfair: healthcare access, civil rights, economic policy. And justice doesn't serve popularity. It's a very heavy card, this one. It serves a moral compass. Like supporting LGBTQ, you know, he leaned into what he believed was right. So justice isn't glamorous. Like I said, it's a heavy card, and he did what he believed was ethically right, not just what was safe. And justice asks, what is fair, not what is safe and easy. And his path has involved living with difficult truths and owning the impact as well of those truths, even when it hurts. So his life path involves this lesson that every justice choice or decision carries that ripple effect that goes out, and he must stay aligned to his moral compass, even when the world of politics wants something else. So, you know, a lot of times we see politicians go into that field with the best of intentions, but, you know, they're pulled this way, they're pulled that way, and a lot of them give in to something else than what they went into office for. So as a biracial, intellectual, emotionally reserved man in a divided country who, you know, whether you loved him or hated him, he was projected on a lot, as you'd imagine. And his lesson is to hold the space between the opposing forces in the High Priestess. You know, you cannot control how other people see you, but you can control how you stay true to yourself. So his year cards then are the Empress and the Hangman. And as Empress, he's in his kind of he's in his gardening phase, guys. Planting seeds for the future, nurturing future leaders, stepping into that kind of role, a kind of cultural elder role, an elder statesman. So he's kind of growing leaders from a soil bed, if you will, investing in long-term goals, growing the next generation, because the Empress is all to do with gardens and the earth. And the Hangman energy is still lingering, I would say, from 2024, especially, you know, as he navigates public criticism regarding investigations into former Obama era officials and the Russia probe. So the Hangman strips away the illusion of control. He can't fix the system. He must surrender. Surrender is a word that would go with this card. Surrender to the evolution of it, of his policies. So he's learning that truth, democracy are much bigger than one man's legacy. And also the karmic card of justice as well. You know, he's seeing what his legacy has truly become. Maybe not what he truly hoped for as well, I would say. So let's get into some oracle cards and some charm casting. So show us the energy, anything that we need to know, please, about Barack Obama, his energy, his life lessons, his soul's path. Show us the energy, please. Show us the energy. Show us the energy. Whoa. We've got a faller. Insight. Absolutely. So that would be something that goes with the High Priestess. Insight. But like I was just saying, you know, insight into what his legacy has become, what was possible, what was not possible, but what he can still do and contribute by planting those seeds. Okay, let's get into some charms. Okay, so I've got 4 charms here. One is a globe, the world. When I first saw this charm, I thought it was a ice cream in a cone. It's not, it's a microphone, guys. So my feeling here with these two, I definitely feel like they're connected. Oh, it's hard to hold them. So this is a voice that was born to speak to the world, uplift, protect. We've got the hand of Hamza there, and broadcast those messages far and wide all over the world, not just for one nation is my feeling, but to influence a whole globe. And also I would say to speak on behalf of the voiceless. We've got a coin here. Had a trip to America last year, so I had a few American coins left over, and this is a 1 dime coin, and the coin could relate to not only perhaps economic policy, but also the value of words with that microphone there. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Make of that what you will. Drop your comments in the box below. Let me know what you thought of this one, or if there's anyone that you would like me to cover. If you'd like a private reading, do get in touch. My email address is in the description box, and I will see you on the next. You fly well, my friends. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.